two rebels team up to stop a boy from befriending the cute Mandy.
Somebody write this.
Hi, and welcome to Somebody Write This, where we use a random plot generator to give us an idea, and then we brainstorm how that could be a thing somebody might want to write. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Jenny, and to help us with our brainstorming today, we have a guest. Let's welcome Jennifer Ann Gordon.
Thank you for having me, Hannah and Jenny. I'm already laughing about cute Mandy.
Oh, I'm so excited to get into that. Before we do, I'd love to talk with you a little bit. I know you are an author. You just had a book come out. Maybe start by just telling us a little bit about your most recent work.
Okay, so again, my name is Jennifer Ann Gordon. I am a Gothic fiction writer and Gothic horror predominantly.
Ooh.
And it's spooky book season, so it's perfect. I had a most recent book came out in August called From Daylight to Madness. And the follow-up to that book is actually coming out on November 19th. And it is about a woman in the 1800s, 1873 to be exact, who loses a child, and because she is grieving improperly, her family kind of plots to send her away to a hotel. And when I say hotel, I really mean an asylum, a very nice asylum. So it's about kind of her slow descent in and out of madness and damning the patriarchy at the same time. And there's a little bit of a romantic tilt to it, but it is not a romance.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating.
I love Gothic fiction, and my writing style is poetic and lyrical. And I just thought, I had it in my idea that I wanted to write a historical horror novel. And I tried a few years ago to write this novel, and I failed miserably because I realized I had not done any research on the time period.
Oh no!
So I wrote a different book instead. I'm like, I don't need to research this one, so I'll write this. So then I spent some time researching, just like the ego of an author, just like, I can just make it up. They did it in the Tudors. I can do it. But then I knew how mad I was when I watched the Tudors and everything was bad. So where I got the idea of this, it sounds strange, but I was doing a while ago, many years ago, I was doing past life regression sessions. Ooh. So there was like hypnosis involved. And I saw in my brain, whether you believe in past lives or not, I think it's an interesting process to be regressed. So I saw basically the very beginning of this book. I saw my main character, or me, or whoever it is, Isabel, giving birth to a child, and then the child passing away after a few minutes. And that kind of stuck with me for years. And I thought about her, about if it was me, and I kind of wanted to explore just based on that moment. So yeah, I just wanted to explore her story. So that was the original inspiration years ago. And so that was it. But then, of course, it's me, so I had to turn it into a horror novel instead of just historical fiction.
You talk about having to kind of restart this because you hadn't done any research. So what were some of the things that you really were digging into to get a full sense of authenticity for the story?
So I did, I enlisted the help of somebody smarter than me. I got a genealogist on board and a historian, and she helped me with old census records and old accounts of basically this hotel, this quote unquote hotel is on an island off the coast of Maine. And I based the hotel itself on a specific place. That it was a real hotel that I based it on, not an asylum. But I did research on who was basically the staff at hotels, because I didn't know in 1873 really who was working, like what did the maids look like, what were the average age of just little hotel employees. And I found that they were mainly staffed by Irish immigrant girls. So I didn't know any of that. I also have my main character, Isabel. Her family dies of the Spanish flu when she's very young. So I had to research that. When I really had to research which, I knew the year I wanted her family to die. And I had to figure out what was killing people in mass in those years. So it was the Spanish flu. And I did research on what it was like to grow up in an almshouse, like a poor house. So little things like that. And then, of course, the clothes. Of course, things like I wanted to talk about like Adirondack chairs. And I was like, wait, did Adirondack chairs exist in 1873? They did not. And
Never
and
mind.
I
Okay.
wanted to use the word restaurant, and then I realized it was not a popular. Nobody used the word restaurant until the 1930s in this country.
Wow.
Oh,
So,
wow.
just little things where I'm like, oh, they have to go to a place to eat, and it's not a restaurant.
But those details are so important. So that's really cool that you put all that time in.
Yeah, they are. And little things like, what does laudanum taste like?
Yeah.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. As you can tell, it's an uplifting book.
Every year in the National Novel Writing Month forums, my favorite thing to browse is just the list of questions that people have, research questions, and it is such a variety. It is like from what does laudanum taste like to what would be a reason that somebody might tell somebody that they couldn't be there at a certain time, even if they could, to
Right.
how tall was the average woman in 1743. So I absolutely love
Right.
just the
Like,
details
were
of
there
that.
window screens? Like, I had like so many weird questions. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll give you a chance to talk a little bit more and plug the book itself and anything else you want at the end of the podcast. But in the meantime, we are going to jump on into our brainstorming. Our synopsis is two rebels team up to stop a boy from befriending the cute Mandy.
Aw.
So why?
so why? Why are they? And I'm also thinking, who? Like, is cute Mandy a cute Mandy could be a dog,
It's true. It doesn't have to be a
you know?
human woman. It could be a dog.
Cute.
It could be.
It doesn't have to be a girl.
Could be
I mean,
a demon.
It could be a demon. It could be a demon dog. We don't know.
that's why he has to not
Maybe.
befriend it.
Exactly. So we could go with cute Mandy is like a succubus.
Ooh.
Yes.
She's terrible. And the rebels are actually our heroes. Maybe they're trying to.
Yeah, so I guess my follow-up question with that, because maybe this will help place the world a little bit. Rebels against what? What is the the force that they're is it some version of Mandy?
What are they rebelling against?
Is it
Are they Civil War reenactors? Are they from the South?
Were they previous sort of followers of Mandy?
Are they like James Dean, Rebels Without a Cause?
Oh,
There's so many options.
they could be James Dean. Okay, so befriending the cute Mandy. They could be political rebels. Like, what if this world we are creating for the cute Mandy is maybe people are trying to get, like, there's a political movement that you should mate with demons for like
A political movement.
the world is
Whew.
a political movement,
Yeah,
and these are trying to stop people from having sex with demons. I'm sorry, befriending demons.
Befriending.
Befriending, because that will lead to
Befriending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess here's the next question. Does the boy know that the cute Mandy is a demon, or is she still like undercover? In which case maybe the demon succubus world is not really mainstream yet. And maybe they're rebels against something else.
Maybe the rebels aren't the heroes. Maybe the boy is the hero and he needs to befriend the Mandy to save the world, but the rebels are against him.
Are there warring demons? Is cute Mandy one who is trying
Like
to
the
break
princess
the whole?
of
Yeah.
one of
If there's a cute Mandy, is there an ugly Mandy?
Yes, there's a cute Mandy and a horrific Mandy.
Yes. Okay, I like this. I like that.
I can hear the wheels turning. I can hear them turning.
Like a Coraline world. It's like a mirror world. So cute Mandy exists.
Ooh.
Horrifying Mandy exists.
And which side are the rebels on? Are the rebels working with horrific Mandy? Are they, in which case, what makes them rebels? Or are they...
Maybe the two rebels. Oh, jeez. I almost had something. But I'm still not getting what they're rebelling against.
They're warring demon rulers, and one has control over the current thing. Or cute Mandy was sent to Earth, brought up out of wherever, and is on Earth
I know.
representing maybe the rest of the other Mandys or something. And the rebels are there,
Right.
maybe supposed to be her bodyguard, maybe supposed to be helping her do something, and they decide they don't want to. So they try to stop the friendships from happening. So they're rebelling against the cute Mandy, who they were working with, were in cahoots with, and now don't want this to happen anymore for whatever
Oh
reason.
my gosh, this is how I felt when I watched Star Wars. I was like, what's happening?
So they're rebelling against the cute Mandy. They were on her side, and now they're not.
Right. Because maybe they realized, maybe they met horrific Mandy, horrifying Mandy, and they thought, well, I kind of like horrifying Mandy more. So it's like a...
Yes.
Yeah, don't judge her on her appearances.
Don't judge. Yeah, like in this age of Instagram influencers and stuff like that, you don't have to be a cute Mandy. You can be a horrifying Mandy. And
so... do the rebels want the boy to befriend horrifying Mandy? Are they just like, she's lonely and has no friends? Go be friends with her?
That seems like a really extreme response.
That's actually very sweet.
Does this end up being a weird YA graphic novel about bullying?
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so, it's like, it's about body positivity. It's about acceptance. It's like, it turned into...
We've gone from like horror to sci-fi to YA body like I'm dizzy.
Well, that's what brainstorming is. It's literally like there's a storm in my brain right
all
now.
Over.
Okay, I like where this is going. I feel like we're like pitching a really terrible TV show to Netflix.
Yes.
And there's somebody on the other side of the table going, yes.
Who's our primary point of view? The synopsis is written with the rebels as the subject, but is it the boy? Is it the cute Mandy? Or is it the rebels? Or horrifying Mandy?
Or horrifying Mandy.
Or is it like some weird outside perspective like death or time or something? Talking about this weirdness that happened. Very abstract.
I know, it's like literally, it's like from the point of view of like a mirror or something. And people are like, it's from the point of view of Mandy's reflection. I don't know, maybe it should be about them from the boy's point of view. Because he is probably just very confused. He's probably just as confused as we are of why he can't be friends with cute Mandy.
Oh, he sounds so innocent.
He's a boy. He's just a boy.
Sweet innocent boy.
How old or young is this boy? Are we talking 8 or are we talking 16? Because that makes a difference.
Let's split the difference. 14. So he's just old enough to like, really want to befriend cute Mandy.
Yeah.
And like, so because he's discovered girls. He's discovered the cuteness of girls. Maybe horrifying Mandy used to be his friend once. And now he's like thrown her aside for now all he wants to be with is the cute Mandy. And maybe the rebels...
I feel like all of these characters, if the boy is 14, I feel like all of these need to be like kids in his class.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 girls named Mandy in the class, and there's the cute Mandy and the ugly Mandy. Or like the plain the normal Mandy.
Yeah. The normal like a normal regular Mandy.
I'm going to pause this real quickly because it is time to get a title, and then I have a question that maybe the title will help with or not. I don't know. Oh no. Our title is...
Oh no!
Oh no!
Our title is Cliché-Ridden Leia.
What?
Is that horrifying Mandy
no.
somehow? It's cute Mandy versus Cliché-Ridden Leia? Or, like, I don't even know what that means.
I don't know, but my first thought was that horrifying Mandy is actually the boy's twin sister.
Okay.
You see where I'm going? Because Leia... Cliché.
Okay.
Oh, Cliché. All right. Okay. Yep. So he's like the boys are Luke Skywalker. And the rebels are clearly Han Solo. Now we're just writing Star Wars.
We are. We really are. So
Like,
maybe my main
shoot.
question, and maybe the title can come into play here and answer this. So my main question is, why is it so important to the rebels that this particular boy not befriend cute Mandy? Is it because there's something special about him in particular? Are they trying to keep everybody from befriending her? And now I'm wondering, is it because somehow it's about avoiding cliches? Is Cliché-Ridden Leia the evil demon that feeds on cliches? And so if the boy goes after the cute girl, it's gonna be a cliche, and Cliché-Ridden Leia will be able to take over the world.
It's so cliche.
It's so 10 Things I Hate About You.
Cliché-Ridden Leia is the demon's name that's inhabiting cute Mandy's body. That is who that is.
Okay.
And she does get stronger the more cliche things happen. So cute Mandy became a cheerleader, and then she got a little stronger. Cute Mandy got nominated
and
for
wore her
Harvest
cheerleader
Queen.
outfit all over the school. Just in class. And
Cute Mandy drops her books in front of boys so they can reach down and pick them up at the same time.
And maybe the boy, he's 14, he's a freshman, but he just got added to the varsity football team. So if and he's like, and he's really good. So if this football player, he's a cliche hero. So if this happens, if he gets with cute Mandy, then a hell well will open up under the school.
Yes.
And everybody will get sucked into this because it will be the most cliche thing to happen in their ninth grade class.
So that's why this boy is so essential, because he is in the cliche. He would be the one who ends up with cute Mandy, and nobody else can fulfill that role. And so she's desperately trying to make this happen and arranging all these meet cutes and these cutesy little moments.
Which leads to the very important question of, how do the rebels clue in to this is what is happening?
I think through the power of music, like punk music, because now I'm thinking that like the rebels are like the goth kids. They're like the skate punks. So because it's also a cliche,
I was gonna say that's also a cliche. Doesn't that feed the beast?
Yeah, exactly. Like they listened to an album backwards and they thought, oh my gosh.
Or are the rebels people who are watching this and kind of making fun of the cliches and then realizing, wait a minute, this really is playing out exactly like a high school dramatic TV show. What's going on? And then they do some more digging. Maybe cute Mandy accidentally maybe they follow her at one point and notice she drops her human disguise for a second, and they're like, oh shoot. Something's going on.
How do they break the spell on themselves then? If they're like goths, punks, or whatever, listening to rap metal or whatever, do they have to start listening to Taylor Swift?
Yes.
Yes.
They have to start acting against cliche to be able to break the mold. So they keep trying to get this guy to, I don't know, do whatever's not cliche for that. They're
right. Dude, what are you wearing? I don't know. It's called a polo shirt.
Yes, exactly. And then one of them started taking tennis lessons, and
so they're rebels against their own rebellion.
Pale goth guys, maybe one of them goes to a tanning booth, and all of a sudden they're just like, look at me, I'm a normal.
Yes.
So they were basically just hipsters before, gothy
that turn
hipsters,
into preppy,
and now
their whole battle is trying to avoid cliches, but they keep falling into other ones.
Right. Yes. I was like, you could play with that where they're we're not going to be a cliche, so we're just going to, they go the complete opposite and just become the cliche nerdy character. And they're like, oh no.
Right.
No. Okay, now let's be jocks. No, that won't do it either. And so they have to come up with some weird combination of...
Right. And maybe they have to switch several times a day to keep cute Mandy or Cliché-Ridden Leia at bay. So in the morning, they're like, I'm going jogging. And then in the middle of the day, they're like, I'm going to join, the math team. Oh, no, I've got to...
And the clubs hate them because they keep joining and then dropping.
I know.
Yes.
They're
yes, exactly.
This isn't working. We're going to listen to and watch stuff that nobody else has listened to or watched. Oh, no, now we're hipsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then one of them says, we knew about her first. We knew about that she was a demon before anybody knew she was a demon.
Right.
And they're like, oh no.
So you can have a lot of fun playing with this, but then you could also do something, again, I feel like this is a sci-fi horror YA story, like a YA fable. And so you could play with stuff at the end. Like you can play with it a little bit at the end where they like tried on all these different personas and they're like, finally we can go back to who we really are. And they realize that there are pieces from the others that they actually kind of still like. And so they're like, okay, so we can still, you know, the only thing that's not being a cliche just means doing what's authentic to me because I'm my own whole person. And so that means I can do this and I can do that. And
That's
that's
actually
okay.
a really nice takeaway from all of this.
Yeah, that's an overarching theme I could get behind because it is a difficult battle to find your authentic self.
Especially when you're a teenager, like a
exactly.
14-year-old trying to figure out who you are. That's what this is about.
And the message shouldn't be you can't be something if it fits a cliche as well. Like the idea is just that you need to be, you know, in touch with all of you and be willing to let all of that there, even if it doesn't mesh with that. So I think that would be a nice way to kind of not make this the story that just is making fun of cheerleaders and jocks because
we don't want to do that.
That's not good either. No. So yeah, I think that might be a nice way to kind of tie that together.
Oh, this is so fun.
Yes. I love this. This would be a beautiful graphic novel.
Yeah,
right?
It would.
You know, I would love this.
It would be creepy and funny and quirky.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea when I think it was Hannah that said like that cute Mandy's just like making all these forced meet cutes at every turn.
Yes.
You know, like I love how this is how this quote unquote demon is working.
Yeah.
Oops, I dropped my book.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
But they need other people to buy into the cliche and act in the cliche response
Right.
for them to be getting their power.
In fact, I kind of like the idea that her influence has been over the whole school, and that's why the boy got on the varsity team, because he was cute, so he has to be on the varsity team, you know, that kind of thing. And so, like, that's why they're, like, the spells over the whole town or it's spreading or something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The more people act within the cliches she sets up for them, the more it spreads. All right, so we're at the end of our brainstorming, but I love this so much.
I do too.
I love this too. I like it's very heartwarming to me.
It
I'm
is.
just like, oh
it
my
really
gosh.
is. Yeah, listeners, take this, do something with this. We would love to see. I would love to see drawings of cute Mandy and horrifying Mandy, which is the Mandy beneath.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so into this.
I love it.
Oh, all right.
Yay.
So before we close out today, we're going to do our story shout out. So we're going to each take a second and share something we think our listeners should check out. I have, in the month of October, been trying to watch solely horror movies. And one of the ones that I really kind of fell in love with is a movie called Cam on Netflix. And it's just a couple years old. And it's about a woman who works as a cam girl. And she gets locked out of her account, but she finds that somebody else who looks exactly like her is still streaming from her account. And she can't figure out who it is. She can't figure out what's going on. Nobody believes it's not her, and she can't really share anything because it's got this stigma attached to it. And this was super compelling and super engaging. The woman who wrote it did work as a cam girl at one point, and so there's this definite, like, I watched this, and this is a world that I know nothing about, but watching it, I was like, it felt so authentic. There's a scene where she calls the police to kind of do this, and they don't do anything about it, and one of them starts being like sleazy at her, and they're like, so what's the weirdest thing you ever had to do? And apparently that was taken almost directly from the screenwriter's experience. And so it's such an engaging story, and the main actress is so good. So I just found it randomly on Netflix. I highly recommend it. Cam, it's so fascinating. And it's there's a little bit cute Mandy and horrifying Mandy. There's real woman and the creepy duplicate that's on the
Very
screen.
appropriate.
I know, that's what I was, when you were talking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's horrifying Mandy.
And I didn't realize that. I was just like, what's the best thing I've seen recently? All right, gonna toss it over to you, Jenny. What would you like to share with our audience?
I would like to share another old favorite of mine that everybody should watch at least once just because it's that much fun. You need to watch Strictly Ballroom.
Yes.
It's an Australian film in 1992 about a dancer named Scott Hastings. And it's all about this whole community of amateur ballroom dancers. And his mother teaches dance lessons. And one of the students wants to dance more professionally, specifically with him, because she loves dancing, but she's like in the beginner class. And it's a fascinating movie because it puts the ballroom dancing first, even though you get glimpses back into these people's quote-unquote real lives. Like, one of the most famous dancers in their group is like a hot tub salesman and that kind of stuff. And so it's quirky in that sense. But the main thing about it is that the theme actually fits our brainstorm today, that a life lived in fear is a life half lived. And so you have these dancers working against the quote-unquote rules of the amateur ballroom community and dancing just because they love to dance instead of worrying about the competition or the way things look or who they're supposed to associate with or anything. And it's just a fun, beautiful movie, fabulous music, fun dancing to watch, and you should watch it at least once.
Because it's October, I too am only watching horror and reading horror. Or sometimes mystery thriller.
Yeah.
But I'm going to actually go back to, I have 2 books I read this year that I think are the books of the year, but I'm going to go with the horror one, which is Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay. It came out this summer. It is an incredibly fast-paced book. It is about a virus, so it's incredibly timely. It's basically about if the rabies virus got heightened to the point that you could be dead from rabies, or this like super rabies, within like 2 or 3 hours from getting infected. What I loved about this book is that Paul Tremblay, as an author, is amazing. All of his work is amazing. But his sister is an ICU nurse. And 2 years ago, when he started writing this book, he did a lot of research about what would happen during a pandemic, what would happen in a hospital if things were overrun with sickness and we couldn't keep up.
So not just horror, but timely horror.
Yeah. It's very timely, too timely. At points, you're just like, oh my gosh, no. But what I really loved about this book is it was 2 strong female leads. And a lot of times in horror, the female leads are not that strong, or there isn't a female lead at all, or she's just, a woman running from a house type of thing. But
Cliché.
in this book, the 2 women were cliche. So there it is. We tied it back around. So in this book, Survivor Song, the women are front and center, and they are fearless and strong and loyal. It's about female friendship. It's about, one of them is pregnant, so it's about the fear of having a child during this time. What happens if you get sick? So many things. It's great. It's not really gory. It's great. It's Survivor Song, Paul Tremblay. Read it. Love it.
That sounds awesome.
Yes, that's my order to you for October.
Love it. All right. So as we close things down, Jennifer, is there anything, what would you like to plug for our audience? Social media or other projects? What would you like to share?
Well, the easiest way to find out more about me, if you want to find out more about me, is to go to my website, which is jenniferannegordon.com. That has everything about my books. My first book, Beautiful, Frightening, and Silent, which is a finalist for the horror category in the Kindle Awards currently right now.
Ooh,
so I'm in the top 5 there. Thank you. I'm also nominated for Reader's Choice. So that's 2 fun things there. But on my website, you can get all of my social media. You can also link to the podcast that I host with some friends of mine called Vox Vomitus, which means word vomit in fake Latin, where we talk to best-selling authors about all of the mistakes they've made on their journey to being best-selling authors.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for joining us, Jennifer. This was an amazing story.
I loved it. I'm glad I picked it. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Hannah.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
All right, that is our episode. As a reminder, you can find us every other Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
Follow us on Twitter at WriteThisPod, and if you've been inspired by this episode and have questions or comments or a graphic novel or anything else, email us at somebodywritethis@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
We'll be back with another episode in 2 weeks. We'll see you then.
And as they say, don't climb a tree to look for fish.